What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our first official Whereby session with the Interlace team. So we spent a lot of time in Whereby, and we want to spend some time with you, showing you some of the things that we do on a consistent basis for our clients, for ourselves, and just show you some of the tips and tricks that we use on a daily basis to get results. So one of our favorite tools is Canva. I think some people have a love-hate with Canva. Some people really enjoy it and use it frequently. I know a lot of other designers are used to using Adobe products and doing much more complex design and things like that, which certainly has its place. And Adobe is the leader, let's say, in design services, or always has been. But Canva has been a great tool for us, especially myself, and I know my team in social media over the past few years. Something that can quickly put together professional assets for you that you can throw out on your feed or test in ads. It's a great platform to do those things quickly, but still maintain quality for your brand. So to do that, though, there's a couple things that we set up first before we even get into our ads to make sure that we can maintain that professional quality, brand presence, aesthetic, whatever you want to call it. So anytime we're going into design work or any brand work, we always make sure we have a brand style guide to refer to. So if you or your clients don't have one of these, throw it together. It'll just make your life easier when you're going and creating new assets each month, each week, whatever it might be. So just throwing up our logo, some variations we have there. Always want to nail down some fonts, usually at least a header and a body font. You could throw in a couple, you could pair two different fonts, but again, make sure it kind of fits with your theme or other marketing and sales collateral that you do. This is something you want to keep consistent across all your channels. And then obviously color palette, just to build off of your logo. Again, this is something we're just using to set the tone so that when we go out and create graphics on a consistent basis, we're referring back to this and can make sure that we're using the different features of our brand design. So once we go from here, obviously Canva does a great job making it easy to implement this into existing templates that they have. So one thing you can do, we designed this little brand style guide as our own little PDF that we keep. But then once you have that established, you can actually go into your brand kit when you're logged into Canva, and you can throw those assets right in there. Your color palettes, your fonts, logos, all of that. So it's all, again, preloaded into the system. Now we're kind of good to go ahead, set out and make some graphics or ads. So we're going to go through what we might do for a D2C product ad. Something usually we would throw in animation, some descriptive text, things like that could exist really as a organic asset or an asset for a paid media campaign. So typically always start with a template, almost always building off of just a perfect square Instagram template. So we'll bring that in here. The product we're going to use today, we are going to start selling some Interlace Digital headphones. Shout out Ben for the recommendation. He's a streamer, so he's always got headphones on. All right, so again, Canva does a great job providing templates. I think one of the first mistakes that people make in Canva is that they pull in templates and they just edit them directly and throw some content in there, and then they export them and call it a day. I would refrain from doing that because there are a lot of people that take Canva graphics, they throw them out there, and sometimes it can be easy to see on someone's feed if they're using Canva templates, because you can tell that it doesn't really fit their brand aesthetic or anything. It's just kind of a graphic template that they pulled and customized for themselves. So anything we're going to bring in, we want to make sure we customize it, manipulate it. We don't want it to really look like the original template, if we can. So since we have our brand style, we actually have some recommended style templates. I'm going to go in there just because I think that's going to be an easier starting point for us. And when it's a product ad, I usually want something that's not going to be too distracting, not a ton of text. So we'll just pull like one of these simple templates here, bring it in. I already know we're not really going to use this frame at all. So we'll take that out and we'll bring text back in later once we figure it out. So this is where I start just coming in and messing around with one of these templates. You could always bring in some different elements if you wanted some different shapes or gradients, things like that. There's quite a bit in here when it comes to different illustrations. Mind you, we have a pro account as well, which I would say is worth it. You get access to a lot more different stock assets like this that are easy to use. So not only is there illustrations, different frames for images, and also little animated assets. You can also, go find photos, which I think pulls directly from a couple different stock sources like Unsplash, and things like that. So these are all, free for you to use and pull into your content if you don't have original photos or video that you can use, which we always recommend, obviously. But all right, so we have our little background here. Let's pull in our product, upload an image here. We got a couple styles for us. All right, so one nice little feature of Canva, again, it's not a crazy feature in the sense of what it accomplishes, but it just makes it easy for people to do. So when you pull in a JPEG image here, if you haven't already removed the background, you can use Canva's little auto background remover. Hopefully this is gonna work well for me. All right, there we go. So it'll just automatically pull out that background and create a clean PNG for you. The only thing I would say, little asterisks on that, is that it needs to be a high-res image to start with. So make sure you have good product photography to bring in here, so that if you do use effects and things like that, it has the app is probably pulling from cleaner line work and can pull out those backgrounds more effectively. So once we go from here, we can kind of just place our product in. Just going to take a stab at this. Let's get some of these things out of the way. I'm going to duplicate this because I know that we're already going to do another version. So pull that in, do the same exact thing. Get our background removed. We have a dark product image here, so I'm actually going to swap background color. That's a little funky. Maybe just go white. Yeah, let's try that. All right, so now we obviously want to throw in some descriptive text. We should probably pull in a logo, maybe. I don't think your logo needs to have too much of a presence usually. If you're running this as a social ad, your logo is already usually going to be in your profile picture or something like that. That's going to accompany your post. So not everything always needs to have a logo. For this sense of making this, we'll throw one in there. But I would say don't ever be too concerned about that. Make sure more so on the photos and graphic itself, and then the text and message that you're putting in there is going to be much more important and more valuable in terms of how this creative performs, rather than where your logo is on the graphic. So keep that in mind. Let's see. From here, we'll just bring in a header. All right, we'll throw in a subheader as well. All right, we'll keep this one nice and simple for this right now. Again, a lot of this could be changed up, but we just want to show kind of what's capable, or what the capabilities are here when we do something like this. So again, probably gonna want to bring this in, these same assets in onto the next one. Obviously, we're gonna have to alternate colors a little bit, but that's nice and simple once we have our palette saved. All right, we got two different versions. Obviously, I would love to mess with this a lot more, but I think for this case, we will just throw this in here. I guess from this point, we have our products featured here. We have some branded elements. If you're going to run some sort of ad, you're probably going to want to throw in kind of some benefit statements around the product that might be helpful for someone who's interested. So we'll mix that in here. All right, what's another feature here? Let's throw, oh yeah, here we go. 24-hour battery life for all your listening needs. Thank you, Ben. All right. So again, could mess around with this layout, text features, add more in here, but we'll just keep it simple for this sake. I'm going to go back to the dark color just so we alternate. And let's actually get rid of this weird spacing here. I think one thing that's always great when you're making an ad as well, and we'll throw another little hack in here, let's say, if you go to facebook.com and maybe search one of your competitors, there's actually one that I like to bring up for clients in the CBD space. This brand Fields does a really good job. CBD and hemp is obviously challenging to make ads for because a lot of the content can't really or doesn't comply with Facebook's advertising policies. But in any competitor research, or if you want to get ideas on maybe how your ads should look, go to one of your competitors, go to their Facebook and scroll down to page transparency on their page. You can scroll down and hop into their ad library, and you can instantly start getting a good idea of type of ad creatives that your competitors and people in your industry are using. So great way to get some inspiration for design, copy, product placement, things like that, and get ideas for your own content. So just speaking to maybe, when we're doing this graphic here, if I can get back to it somewhere. Here we go. How you might lay this out, how you might feature it, and again, just messing with the real estate we have here. We want to make sure we get the most of it. Again, for the sake, we're going to keep this one simple, and we'll move on from here. So once you get a couple of your frames, you have the info, the product shots that you want to have in there. One of the nice things of Canva is the ability to export this as a video asset. So it's kind of for each slide, you can throw in specific animations. I would say it's good to keep them consistent on each slide. So what you can do is come in here and just see how maybe you want this stuff to flow in. Keeping it simple is usually the key. You don't want people being too distracted. You still want them to be able to consume the content. So we'll just do a simple fade in here. Maybe do this at about 3 seconds. We're going to apply this animation to all pages here. And then we're going to go through and make sure that the duration on each page is also consistent. So we'll put them all at 3 seconds for now. Beautiful. You know what? We're going to bring this image in here to use this up a little more. Kind of complete that. Duplicate this one more time. Always love to have a closing screen with a clean call to action. So we'll throw that in here. Put your website link in. Awesome. Okay, so we got our animations applied. Get our duration set. If there's more text on the page, you could set your duration a little longer so people can read it. And then the closing scene, you could always leave longer so that call to action just kind of rests there. All right, so we've got all of our slides put together. just name this so that when we download it, it has a clean name on it. IG feed. So we'll label that there. Okay, one more step, adding in some audio. So Canva has a bank of different music and instrumentals and things you can use. So most ads I would say are going to play without audio because when you're scrolling over them, the audio is actually disabled until you allow it. But still a good way to make more dynamic content here. And if you did post this on your feed, just adds another element to, again, kind of just go with the quality. So let's see if we can find... I'll hop into one of their categories. We'll go with epic here. Let's see. Some of these can get a little wild. All right, this one's thankfully not, we don't think. We'll pull this in. You can, in the song, oh, there we go. So you'll see that there's different, there's different sections of the song. So you'll kind of want to grab one that fits, how this video is going to work. So I look for something where sometimes the music is ramping up and then it can kind of drop somewhere in the middle of the ad. But just to show what this looks like now, when we bring it all together, we can play it. Let's take the top. All right. So again, nothing crazy, simple animations, but some of that little versatility in the content actually can go a long way when it comes to paid media or how this content might end up performing once it's thrown into a campaign. So yeah, that kind of gives us a completed IG feed ad. The next step here that makes this really nice in Canva is we always want to optimize our assets for all platforms. So once we've created this initial graphic, typically what we'll do is we'll always duplicate it into a story asset as well. So this will take a little bit more laying out, but even right off the bat, it's already a pretty clean product ad. So sometimes we'll come in here and just maybe relay out this text a little bit. We can move our illustrations, use up a little more real estate there. Do the same thing down here. It's actually not too bad. Again, you could be a bit more picky with this and really get it right. But for the most part, this is also now a completed story asset. So change this up here for story. And there we have it. So in a matter of however many minutes we just went through there, obviously a quick little design sprint, but shows you kind of once you have things set up properly in Canva and you've already taken care of things like original content or product photos, and you want to come in and create new branded assets. Once you get in here, get comfortable with the platform and get used to manipulating these templates, you can really go a long way. And then the end product doesn't quite end up looking like a templated Canva graphic. Looks a little bit more like a custom branded animation that you would have put together from a designer. So hopefully that's really helpful. I wish we actually had some headphones to sell for you guys right now. I dropped the link below. But for right now, this is just meant to show you guys how we do things in Canva. So hopefully that's helpful. Definitely encourage you to go out and try and create your own product ad and get these into some paid media campaigns so you can start driving some traffic and conversions. But thank you for joining our first Whereby session, guys. We'll have more of these coming. Thank you as always. Check out our website, follow on social for more updates from the Interlace team. Thank you.